Hello and welcome to the Aunty Lisa show. In today's story, we have Kristoffer, Aleksander, Aunty Lisa, Andy, the Octonauts, Apple Juice, Jack's beach buggy, and Papa and Mummy. So there we go. Alrighty. One day, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer, and Papa and Mummy decided to go on a day trip to the beach. Hooray! So they packed their buckets and spades and their swimming trunks and swimming costumes and towels and rain gear. Very important when you go to the beach. And snacks. And they were off on their way to the beach. When they got there, everything was going absolutely perfectly. The sun was shining. That was a good start. And they were playing in the sea and they built an enormous sand castle. It was the size of Aunty Lisa, which is quite tall for a sand castle. At least I think so. So, they were just sitting down to have a cup of tea and a biscuit when all of a sudden they heard the crazy rev noise. And it went, and they looked around and went, why is there this horrible noise at the beach? That kind of noise shouldn't be at the beach. And then they spotted, coming at quite a speed, a beach buggy. And it went, vroom, and it smashed that castle to smithereens. Everybody was crying. Aunty Lisa was crying, Papa was crying, Mummy was crying, Aleksander and Kristoffer was crying and having a right old strop because the beautiful sandcastle they built had been destroyed. Well, so the next thing that happened was they shouted at the beach buggy that had just destroyed their sandcastle. Went, hey you, what did you do that for? And the beach buggy crashed into the sea. That's not what beach buggies are supposed to do. They are not supposed to crash into the sea. And they quickly realised that something must be very, very wrong. So everybody ran over to where the beach buggy was. And they realised to their astonishment that this was Jack's beach buggy. Oh my goodness. Aleksander said, Jack, are you okay? And Jack was like, hey guys, can somebody help? The beach buggy was completely under the water. What a nightmare. And Jack was trying to swim to safety. But wait, let me think about this. Jack is a good swimmer. So he swam out and onto the beach. And he said, I thought I was going to flatten you all. And Kristoffer said, well, you did flatten our sandcastle, actually, Jack. Jack said, I'm really sorry about that. The beach buggy went out of control. I don't know what happened to it. I couldn't even control the stopping and starting. It just kept going and going. And eventually I thought the only thing I can do is crash into the sea. So that's what I had to do. I am sorry about your sandcastle, though. And everyone said, well, that's okay, Jack. Are you all right? Jack said, yeah, I'm all right, I guess. What a day. What a day. I was only supposed to be coming down here to collect some things for JB. I said, what did you need to collect, Jack? And he said, well, she keeps going on about ghosts that live in the sea. And she said that I should collect some seashells and some seaweed and see if I could find any treasure on the beach. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, well, we've looked for treasure. We couldn't find any treasure, but we can help you look for seashells if you like and some seaweed. We found some really stinky seaweed. Would you like it? And Jack said, oh, yeah, that'd be great. Although the beach buggy is now sinking into the sea, we're going to have to get it out of the sea, aren't we? Oh, man, this is a bad day. Well, the next thing that happened was they had to call up someone to get that beach buggy out of the sea. And they called up Drill, because Drill works for the Coast Guard, and he was the best bet that they had for having someone who could pull a beach buggy out of the sea. And he came down with all of his beach buggy towing gear. And he said, "Hey guys, what happened here?" And Jack explained the whole story and the smashed sandcastle and the not being able to control his beach buggy. Drill said, "Oh, this is pretty serious. We've had a few vehicles going out of control recently. Not just yours. We had some boats crashing into things, and we had somebody had a big lorry crashed into things. It's almost like something is taking them over." Jack said, "Oh dear, that sounds like a spooky problem to me. Hold on a second. I'm going to get out my ghost detecting gear." And so he fired up the app on his phone. He went, oh, there were some angry looking ghosts hovering around the place. And he said, "Oh man, I bet it's these ghosts have been taking over people's stuff. They look like mechanics. That's strange, isn't it? Right, I'll just zap these ones. Pew, 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 pew. Aleksander, Kristoffer, can you help me?" And they got out their phone. Pew, 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 pew. And it zapped them. So the ghosts in his beach buggy were gone. Whew, that was the relief. So he called up JB and explained the whole situation. And she said, "Right, we're going to go out and we're going to do some proper ghost detecting. See if we can't track down the problem." Now, Drill got Jack's beach buggy out of the sea. And now that it had dried off a bit, it wasn't in too bad a shape. It didn't want to start straight away, but it was okay. And there were no ghosts controlling it. So, in that moment, they had a call from the Octonauts. And the Octonauts called up Kristoffer. And it was Captain Barnacles on the iPad. And he said, "Hello, Kristoffer. Do you read me?" And Kristoffer said, "Yes, I read you." He said, "We've got an emergency. We can't control the octopod. It's going round in circles. It's going crazy all over the place. We're all going to throw up." And Kristoffer said, "Oh, that sounds horrible. Maybe it's been overtaken by ghosts. Oh no. Okay, give us your coordinates and we'll be right there." So Captain Barnacles gave them their coordinates. And Kristoffer said, "Hey Drill, can we borrow your boat? We need to go and zap some ghosts on the octopod." And Drill said, "Anything for you guys. Let's do this." So by this point, Papa and Mummy, who had quite a shock with all of this ghostly goings on, because normally they're not involved in these stories, but they said, "Okay, if everybody wears their safety gear, then let's all go and see if we can help the Octonauts." So everyone climbed aboard Drill's boat, including Jack, of course. They all got on board. It was a bit of a tight squeeze because it's not normally got that many people on it. Anyway, so they zoomed out into the open ocean on Drill's boat until they reached the coordinates of the octopod. And they said, "Okay, we're going to need to dive down. It's much, much lower than here. We're not going to be able to zap the ghosts." And Papa said, "Hang on a minute. We don't want you diving down when the octopod is down there going crazy. You might get flattened by it." Mummy said, "Good point, Papa. This doesn't sound very safe, boys." Aunty Lisa said, "Oh, you're not wrong, actually. What we need is a submarine. Has anyone got a submarine that we could borrow?" Nobody had a submarine. So they had a little think about who they might know who would have a submarine. And it turned out that the only person they could think of was Gru. So Aleksander called up Gru. And Gru said, "Hey guys! Oh, it's great to see you. Yeah, I'll be right there with my submarine. Okay, bye-bye." And he zoomed over in his submarine. which bobbed up just in front of the boat that they were all aboard. And he said, climb in, you guys, climb in. Let's do this. So they all climbed into the submarine with their iPads and iPhones ready. Mummy and Papa had downloaded the app so they could help bust some ghosts too. He said, let's find those octonauts. Okay. So the submarine went under the water. And everyone was peering out through the windows. It had some good windows on this submarine. You'd need it for zapping the ghosts. Until suddenly, Mummy said, look over there, I can see the octopod. Oh dear, it's going round and round and round in circles. Jack said, right, hold on a second, guys. Let me see if I can see any ghosts. Oh yes, I can see some. They look like angry mechanics too. What's going on with all the mechanic ghosts? Right, everybody, let's see if we can get in a bit closer and then we're going to bust those ghosts. So, Gru very carefully took the submarine a little bit closer. Then they all went, ready, steady, pew, 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 until all the ghosts had been busted. And the octopod went, and stopped going round and round in circles. Captain Barnacles came back on the screen. He said, hey everybody, hello, how are you? Thank you so much. We feel very sick, but we're gonna be okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. And he went off to be sick because they'd been going around in circles for a long time. Now, Gru said, well, I've got to go back for dinner. So can you guys get back on your boat? And everyone said, yep, we can all get back on the boat. So he took them back to their boat. He said, bye-bye. And off he went. Now, you'd think that would be the end of the story. But actually, there was one more crazy thing to happen that day. And that involved Andy. Poor Andy was having some serious mechanical difficulties with his time travel clock. And he called them up and he said, hey everybody, my time traveling clock keeps moving. I don't know what's going on with it. 1 minute it's upstairs, next minute it's downstairs, then it's outside. It's all going crazy. Aleksander said, I think your time traveling machine has been possessed by ghosts. And he said, don't be silly. Ghosts don't exist. Andy, he's such a silly Billy. So, everybody went over to the Natural History Museum. And they said, Andy, we'll prove it to you. I bet it's ghosts. And he said, oh, fine, okay, but as long as you can stop this thing, just... It keeps going in different places. I don't even know if you're going to be able to track it down, quite honestly. Well, Jack got out his super ghost detecting gear. And he said, it's over there! Quickly as a flash, Aleksander and Kristoffer ran over with their mobile phones and went, pew, 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 pew. And they zapped those ghosts. And the time machine stood still. And he said, whoa, I didn't even think that there could be ghosts. Can't believe you guys managed to save the day. I was going stir crazy with this thing. And Aunty Lisa said, yeah, apparently there's been some really naughty ghost mechanics going around messing with people's machines and their vehicles. And JB is out there right now, busting some more of them. And he said, well, I am very grateful to you guys. Hey, do you want to come on an adventure with me? And they all said, yeah, all right. So he said, well, what would you like to see? And they said, well, we do like to look at T-Rexes, actually. Papa and Mummy looked at each other and said, are you sure? I don't think this is a good idea. And Aunty Lisa said, it'll be fine. And so they all went on an adventure with Andy and looked at some T-Rexes and some Brachiosauruses and Parasaurolophus and all different kinds of dinosaurs. And then they came back to the Natural History Museum and had a lovely drink of apple juice and some cups of tea and some cake to celebrate. And it was all in all a pretty good day. And that is the end of the story. Love you. Bye-bye.